Cheers, Rockets fans. Welcome to The Locker Line, an exclusive podcast from the home of the Rockets.
Whoa!
Sports Talk 790.
Rockets!
The Locker Line is proudly served to you by Carbox Clutch City Lager.
It is good!
Oh, yeah? Red Nation, get ready. Get ready. The Locker Line starts now.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome in to a special edition of The Lager Line, served to you as always, courtesy of Clutch City Lager of Carbach Brewing. I'm your host, Ben Dubose, editor of USA Today's Rockets Wire and contributor to Sports Talk 790, the official flagship radio station of your Houston Rockets. Today we have a mini-cast, if you will, live from Toyota Center, where I'm chatting with Kevin Porter Jr., starting point guard for your Rockets. It's an optional day of work for the Rockets after Wednesday night's win in Dallas. It's not a full-on practice. But if there's one thing you should know about Kevin, it's that he's not going to pass up anything optional when it comes to basketball. Kevin, thanks for taking the time. How are you?
I've been good, man. Season's been good. Just been trying to improve each and every day and each and every game, so it's been fun.
I want to ask you about last night's win in Dallas, because even though you're 3-12, you're coming off some clear momentum with that. You had 17 points, 11 boards, 8 assists. How big was it to actually get that result? I know you guys have been more competitive the past couple of weeks. You can see that you're getting closer to where you want to be. But how nice is it to actually get the result?
It's nice. At the end of the day, we work, we prepare for a win, and that's what we was able to do last night. We haven't been able to finish games and execute as of late. We'll win 3 quarters, but the fourth quarter has been our struggle. Our youth and our experience is the lack of that. So as these games go on, we're going to get better and better in those moments, and it showed last night.
What does the coaching staff do to make sure that you guys are not getting discouraged after, you started 2-12, you had so many near misses that got away late? How did they stay on you guys to where you don't let it, affect you mentally?
Just reminding the work that we put in all off season, the foundation that we're building as an organization, as a team, in that it takes time. We can't have everything at once. We got to stay poised, and we got to trust the process and trust the foundation that we're building.
Last night was interesting for you. You had 11 boards. You had a couple of those blocks against Christian, which were really impressive when he was right at the rim. And, you're a guard, and you went up and met him at the apex and got him twice. And, of course, that contributed to the 19 blocks you guys had as a team, second most in franchise history. It led to the win. Offensively, the first 3 quarters, it was a bit mixed. It seemed like you weren't fully in rhythm. And yet, the final 5-6 minutes, there you are making the big shots, and people on social media are calling you the closer. How do you sort of turn the page, even if it's, I don't want to say it was a bad game, but offensively, you seem sort of, not fully in rhythm the first 3 quarters. And yet, the fourth quarter, you're still ready to go when it's winning time and make those plays.
That just comes from my experience and knowing when to score and knowing when to take over and lead my team to a win. I try to get better at that each and every game. And, we're 3-12, but I feel like the game is slowing down. I'm more poised in this moment. And every fourth quarter, I'm ready to go to war with my guys. So we got to turn it up a little more when it's time to win. And that's what we're able to do.
How would you evaluate your season so far? You're averaging 19 points, easily your career high in the NBA, about 6 boards, 6 assists per game. You're at 4 turnovers, which I know you want to get down. What do you think of your play through the first 15 games, and what are some of the points of emphasis for you moving forward?
I think I'm juggling my play, but when it comes to leading and my demeanor and everything, that has been a drastic change from the prior years I've been in the league, and I've been improved as a leader. My word is respected. I've just been having a lot more fun with these first 15 games than I had prior to this year. So I'll say it's been up and down, but it's been a good up and down for sure.
With regards to the turnovers, it's interesting because, of course, a turnover is a turnover, but there's different types. There's turnovers that come in the half court when maybe you don't make the right read, and then there's ones like the Orlando and New Orleans games with, Alvarado, where you get some pest that's trying to pick you up, 94 feet, and, turn on full court press, which is quite a transition from what you typically see in an NBA game. How do you get better in that area? What are the points of emphasis for you? Besides the obvious, everybody wants to limit turnovers. What are the points of emphasis, the technique that you're working on to try and mitigate those?
I don't really focus on that. At the end of the day, turnovers are a part of the game. I'm the point guard. I have the ball in my hands 80% of the time. So I'm going to turn over the ball. Careless ones, that's on me. But sometimes, things happen. Missed passes happen. And I miss, ball slip out my hands. Things happen. And it's a long game at the end of the day. So
yeah,
I'm going to get better as time goes.
How different is it as a full-time point guard? This is year 2 for you in that role compared to your first year here when you got here in March of 2021 and you're basically playing on the wing. That was when John Wall was still here as the primary point guard. How different is your approach when you go into a game knowing you're the point guard versus, 2 seasons ago when you were playing at the wing?
I want to be the best floor general every night. I honor that. And I feel like if I'm able to do that, I'm able to put my team in the best place to win. And still being aggressive and knowing when to score.
Do you sometimes get more aggressive later in games like last night? It felt like the first 3 quarters, you're trying to facilitate, get your teammates involved. And yet, the final 5-6 minutes, it seemed like you got a little bit more assertive when it was winning time.
Yeah, that's just the way the game went. Had some mismatches, some advantages. Come late, and I might take them out. I was able to capitalize on them. But typically, me and Jalen are at the backcourt. We got to raise our level of play, and we got to start being more creating out there, and just having the will and try to get us to a win. Yeah.
What'd you think of Usman Garuba last night?
Oh, man. Uzi been putting together collective games. Like, we've all seen it, especially when he came back from being the champion, got that championship. He came back playing a whole different type of ball.
Yeah.
And, we praise him, man. We love it. And he's young, and he's growing, and you see it. You see the improvements each and every night.
You ready to put him in the 3-point shootout just yet?
Oh, man. I think he got the
It's like 6 of 8.
I was going to say he's like 6 of 8 right now. All he got to do is shoot a little more, so we'll be good if he shoots a lot more with that percentage.
How many strides have you seen? I mean, clearly, Usman has had, one of the more notable jumps among, your returning teammates from last year, just because he didn't do much at all a year ago. Now, some of it's because he just wasn't healthy and couldn't get on the court. But at the same time, Usman, Jalen, Alpi, Josh, when he's gotten out there, clearly they've taken steps forward from a year ago. What are some of the things you can do now with those guys that you couldn't do this time a year ago?
Really, they're just, I can just rely on them a lot more just with their experience and them learning. The game has slowed down for them, like tremendously. Alpi can put anyone in the room, anyone. Jalen, everyone knows what Jalen can do.
Yeah.
JD, that's my twin. He can score on anyone, take any shot, make any shot. And now he's adding that facilitating factor in. He's been great like the last 3 games. He's picking rolls and hitting that roll man, hitting the weak side. So like the game's just been slowing down for him, and it's great. It makes the game easier for me just to sit back sometimes off ball and let him work and be ready for a catch and shoot.
Yeah. I noticed one of the big plays for you, that drive late in the game, right before it, you gave Alpi that touch about 18, 20 feet from the bucket, and it seemed to sort of draw his man out a little bit more because they have to respect him. And then at that point, that's when you had the lane to drive because his man is, coming out on him because of that touch. Is that the kind of thing that maybe he's not able to do a year ago?
No, yeah. Alpi, he got a year under his belt now, so they got some scout, and they definitely respect Alpi. So that definitely helps me, helps Jalen, helps the people like EG, ones that drive and kick or drive for a layup or a finish. Him spacing the floor and them respecting Al. It's either they come to me and it's a dump off the Al, or Al got his man and it's a wide open for us.
One of the things that's difficult for fans, especially those of us in Houston, it's easy to get spoiled because this has been such a winning organization over the years. And they're not used to, a rebuild like this. And so, seeing some of the records past couple of years, there's fans that get down and want somebody to blame. And, of course, sometimes you get some of that as the point guard. But more than that, I want to ask you about, the coaches, because, there's people that have had criticisms of Stephen, John Lucas. I know you've been with them for 3 seasons now, and they've been a big part, not just of your on-court development, but off as well. You've said so many glowing things about those two guys, and I'm fixating on them because they've been here, your whole time in Houston. How would you assess them, as coaches and as people? How important are they to, this great space that you're in, as you mentioned earlier?
They're very important. I'm here because of them first, so that's how important they are from a business standpoint. But from a personal standpoint, we connected from the first call, both of them, Silas and John. When I first arrived, John was the one to pick me up. He took me to a buffet. We had some brunch, some good chicken pot pie. I remember that day. But since I came here, they've just been good mentors for me, and they show that they care, and that's the most important thing. They care about the person in the player, not just the player, and that's kind of why I gravitated towards them.
It's been an interesting time for you off the court as well. You signed a new contract a few weeks ago, so now you're in Houston for up to 4 more years after this season. And I know that's important to you because you're Houston everything.
Yeah.
You even went, although I was going to say you went to one of the Astros playoff games, though you went Astros Mariners, and I noticed you didn't wear colors for either of them because that was interesting for you because you have Seattle roots. Yeah. Now you're Houston. But
I was going for Astros.
Oh, there you go. So you're Astros over Mariners?
Yeah, I got my Texas ID now. So I'm in Houston. But Mariners, I love Mariners. I love my home. But I got to rep H-Town right now.
I know you guys were on the road when, most of that Astros run happened because you had this crazy tough schedule to start the year. That plays into the record, too. We need to point out, 3-12, you had 10 of your first 13 on the road, most against contenders. So, it's not as bad as it might sound at first glance just because you got a bad draw. And now you've got all these home games coming up. But I'm sure you watched from afar and saw the way Houston was on fire. Does that excite you for what could be a few years from now when you guys are maturing and have some free agent additions and are ready to make, hopefully a run of your own?
Definitely. I was actually at that game, the atmosphere here, I got to feel it. And it's admirable what the Astros is able to do for the city and for, the organization in baseball. But, definitely that atmosphere, the fans just got to have it back at Toyota Center for sure.
Well, I mentioned your off-court. I think, the contract at the forefront of the list, and now that's checked off. So got that done. Another thing you've recently launched is Sukuta, and it's actually Sukuta, which is the Japanese way to spell scooter, correct? Mm-hmm. And of course, Scooter's your nickname. Actually, for anybody that doesn't know, how did you get that nickname?
When I was younger, before crawling, my auntie, she seen me and I was scooting on my back, and she called me Scooter. That's basically how I got my name, Scooter. It's from my auntie scooting on my back.
Well, you've launched this venture, and basically the idea is to sort of it's to build a connection between you and fans. And I know that Houston's very important to you. And so, you're getting into the world of digital collectibles. You've got several other components to the venture as well. Basically, it just got off the ground about a month ago, correct?
So basically just little gifs about Scooter. I basically wanted to create another way to interact with my fans and just the community in Houston, and we want to turn it global, but just having that access to me, NBA player, some people didn't have that growing up. I didn't have it growing up that much until I got good enough to be around them. But just having that access as a kid, being able to probably play video games with me, meet and greet, get some winning collectible gifts like my signature shoe or things like that. Just a bunch of fun things for the fans and to be able to interact with the community.
Yeah, and Sukuta.io is how they can learn about that. Sukuta. You mentioned wanting to build that connection. And give your fans some opportunities. I think that's, it's so interesting with you. We talked earlier about Jalen and Usman and All P and Josh. Those are your two guys. And you're in year 4. And sometimes there can be, a little bit of stereotype that once guys get to year 4, not that they're going to stop improving, but, they're starting to get closer to their prime. Whereas with you, you're a little bit closer to those guys in that, you're year 2 in the NBA between the transition from Cleveland to Houston, your time in the G League bubble, getting here for the last couple of months, and then the switch to point guard. You went through so many changes early in your NBA career that I think for a lot of people, like your year 4 is closer to like a year 3 based on the circumstances and the position change. Is that fair?
I mean, this year 4 for me. I like everything that happened. I mean,
Yeah.
it's for a reason.
Well,
But I get what you mean, yeah.
yeah.
And technically, yeah.
Well, the reason I mentioned it, that, you're a young 22, you're a young year 4, is that it's a good time for fans to sort of get in on these types of ventures with you because you've got a lot more room to grow, right? It's sort of like this is the ground floor, both for you as a prospect, as a player getting better, and also for the team as well. Like, this is a good time to get in right now if you're a fan wanting to learn more about Kevin Porter Jr.
For sure. Like you said, my first 3 years was up and down. Like, a lot of things was happening, so I didn't really get a chance to express who I was. And this way, I get a chance to basically connect with the fans and relate to them. Show express like my habits and habits that I do. The things I like art.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things actually is showing like I'm a designer. Like, I create and I like art. I'm artistic. So that's one of the things you'll see on the website. A bunch of digital collectibles.
Yeah.
And we actually have some early access for the ones that tapped in right now. So
Yeah.
if you want early access, go ahead. But it's gonna be a fun journey.
And some might ask, why are we doing Scooter in Japanese? Well, it's because that's where there's anime roots.
Yeah.
And so that ties into, some of the digital collectibles and some of the art and what you're trying to do, right?
So basically, a lot of it is inspired by anime.
Yep.
And the home of anime. Basically, I'm a big Naruto fan, and my alter ego is Itachi. I'm Itachi Uchiha, and basically, if you don't really know the background of Naruto, Itachi's probably top two most crazy storylines.
Yeah.
Crazy characters, the stuff that he'd been through. So that kind of inspired me to do on the artistic side something like that, and that basically gave me the name Scooter. So I'm a big anime fan.
Yep.
And they definitely are going to see that by the website.
Yeah, so digital collectibles are part of it, but it also ties into, more of your personal brand. We talk about the artwork, fashion, those types of things, collaborations. So it's basically a combination of everything.
Yeah, a combination of everything. Rock,
Yep.
band, guitars, everything.
Yeah, and it's Sukuta.io, and you've got linked there at Twitter and Instagram, and I think you guys also have a Discord, right?
Yes.
Where you're starting to do Discord where you're doing game chats and stuff like that?
Yeah, so there's, we do have a Discord. Every game we do, or almost every game we do a game chat.
Yeah.
Where it's a live chat. Basically, when I'm playing, you get to chat and watch the game and be in there. And there's also a slide where sometimes I come in the Discord and I'll chat with fans, interact with them like that. So there's just so many different ways to have access to, interacting with me and just seeing and being a part of what we're building. So definitely, Scooter's definitely going to be a dope way of just building a community base within our brand.
Good stuff. Anything else you want to throw out to your fans before we close out?
Man, let's rock out. Scooter's here. Rock your life.
Sukuta.io. Folks, that is Kevin Porter Jr., starting point guard of your Houston Rockets. As for me, I'm Ben Dubose. Follow me on Twitter at Ben Dubose, and follow this show, The Logger Line, on Twitter at The Logger Line. Kevin, thanks so much for the time.
Appreciate you, my man.
See you tomorrow, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.